And if it's ours,
So
then
the
it
more
should just be
people
the
that come
city.
on, would there be more owners? That's what I'm just wondering. How, if they feel like they're entitled to that.
What my original question was, what is meant by this? What is it you're wanting?
We own it right
What
away,
we're wanting,
but
we're wanting
just
our
any of the
1/6 back, or
funds go back
1/7 back, or 1/8 back.
Evans and Jake.
So I
and
think
whoever
that
the
first
sixth person
sentence
is.
under additional connections.
I think you're nitpicking now, but that's all right.
I really think we're all on the same page, but it's just
Well, I think we are too. I don't care how many you hook on.
of trying to have it defined in a way that everybody understands.
Go ahead, why you got?
So I'm understanding. I guess what Aaron's concern is that, let's say Tim gets on, I came on and Tim wants to come on, and I don't like Tim, and since I'm part of the owning that, I can say no.
The city approves him, but
Yeah,
they say no.
And they say no?
I mean,
Nah, that's not our intent in there at all, absolutely.
Then we're just going to take the words "and owners" off that sentence.
That's, I think that's,
Well, I thought it was in there, I didn't even bring mine along because I had it memorized, but as many
I
times.
have another copy if you
As
want.
many times as I've got one out in the truck, so it doesn't matter. That's not the intent. If you think there's something wrong with it, you figure out how to word it, but I'm gonna tell you what, your brother helped Jake with this, so.
So the bottom line is, what is it gonna cost the city to help hook this up? 300 feet of sewer pipe, plus the digging, plus the boring, plus the electrical?
Yes,
So we're gonna spend $4,000?
so, yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out what,
$4,000 or $5,000.
And that difference is $4,000 or $5,000.
that's
Right,
what's gonna cost the city to hook
between
this up.
Between just the boring and the electrical and the whatever, the copper pipe, whatever.
Right.
That difference is
Yeah,
$5,000
just
roughly, or?
understand that on the electrical, really, there's nothing different than what we would already be doing. We provide electrical service up to the meter. The meter in this case is right on the lift station, and everything's there.
Okay.
So what it really amounts to is the installation of this 440 feet of pipe and boring the road.
But before we were gonna do some of this, plus pay for half the pump.
Not the last go around, but yeah, one of the previous.
Well, somewhere in there, because that's the one I was working under yet.
So we're not doing that pump anymore?
No.
We're just doing this little bit, so it's... So if we think we're gonna spend 4, we'll spend what, $7,500? At 20%? Because nothing ever comes in under budget, under time, or on time.
Can't say nothing.
Well, no, I'm just going by experience. So it's not gonna cost us that much to hook it up doing it with this agreement?
No, and, out-of-pocket costs are
Minimal.
minimal. The biggest issues out of here are either, somewhat of the legal issue about hookups outside the city limits, or it's kind of like the philosophical issues about hookups outside the city limits and the benefits of annexation. That would be the issue. Talking with Aaron about this code that we have. It's the code, very simple. It just says no new hookups outside city limits. But you want to talk to that a little bit, Aaron, if we would want to proceed with this.
Scott asked me, because I think it was 2002 you said,
Yep.
the city council passed a code that says no new connections to the city sanitary sewer system will be permitted for property located outside of the corporate limits. And I don't remember why or what, but Scott says the purpose was if you want the benefit of the city water and sewer, then the city wanted you to annex in. And that's why this was passed. Am I correct?
True. This happened after that large annexation of the lands around the lake. And when we were going through that annexation, we heard the argument time and time again about, boy, why should I, annex into the city, I already receive all the benefits of being in the city. So, you know, in hopes of avoiding that argument again, we had instituted this ordinance about no new hookups.
So Aaron, your recommendation is to what?
Well, depending on what the council wants to do, you have this law sitting there that we passed, and if you want to change the law so that we can, you know, agree to this, or we say to Mike and the owners of the camp and to the Jake, annex in.
Okay, then can I say something?
You bet.
How come you're charging us $75,000 to do this? It's between $75,000 and $100,000, and I hope that, and I asked Scott to give all you councilmen copies of this. I hope he did. DNR went on, put the system in, paid for it, give it to the city didn't say boo, bah, what. City just accepted it, didn't say you gotta jump through this hoop, you gotta do this, right, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, it's all happened part of the time, but basically the DNR installed the system, DNR paid for the system, but annexation was not required.
And what are we suggesting to do here? Exactly the same thing. All right, now I'll go back to another one. That's East End before they were annexed into the city. And do you all have a copy of that one?
Yep.
Read about the third paragraph down or fourth where it says, whereas the city has agreed to pay a portion, the city's share of this is $31,000. The city also put obligation bonds out to pay for it all. $36,000 of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, understand that was all paid back through special assessments.
Right, but the city financed it,
Yeah,
and
city
a
financed.
very, very low interest rate of any interest at all.
Yeah, basically.
Plus the city laid out $30,000, correct? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's true. The city had some specific work that they wanted done about certain type of water main and
Right, but
valve and stuff, and it was detailed about what those
But
costs
the
were.
city laid out all that money for that, right? All right, now I'll just go to the one that was done in 2003, Keeping Towers. And they're in the city limits. What did the city inquire, how come they didn't have to put a pump in? I just talked to Dean about this. Rights and responsibility to the developer, 1, 2, 3 lines in the whole contract. That's all it refers to, 3 lines. And you can hook on. Didn't tell him what kind of pump to put in, what kind of, you know what, he put in a $1,500 pump in the basement, he pumps it up. That's fine with the city. All of a sudden now when we want to do it, we got to spend $100,000. And we're not asking the city for money. I wasn't very happy with the first round when this went through, and I wasn't aware, and I stayed out of it. And Mike even asked for the city. I knew he was asking for money. I wished he hadn't. I tried to tell him not to, but he said, when we get the money, I'll... So when I was on the council, I'm going to tell you what, we didn't try to give money away for other things in the council. Each council does what they want to do, and that's the way it should be. But that was our philosophy, and that still is my philosophy. I think this project, if you're going to do a project, you should be able to finance it yourself. And that's what we're proposing. We're not proposing the city to lay out a bunch of money. And I think all these were good developments. I think Keeping Towers is a good development. There'll be houses built there. And I guess the only thing I'd ask Scott or whoever it is, why are we have to put in this high-price system when the engineer tells us that we could put in a chop pump and a 2-inch main and probably save ourselves $40,000? Because you want to hook other people onto it, and that's fine with us. That's the way it should be put in there. So we're not sitting here trying to buck the system, or trying to get something for nothing.